Hey y'all, how you doing? I'm Joy, that is Steve. This is our NFL Pick'ems podcast heading into week 16, I believe it is.
Yep, it
Yes, it
is.
is.
They're getting closer to the home stretch there.
Yeah. And some of our teams, as we are approaching the home stretch, are limping to the finish. It's
Hmm.
certainly going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes, but before we get into that, we do have a standings shakeup to discuss. So,
Hmm.
we have a new alone game thanks to Troll taking the Bears. So that is now 6 and 16 for the record.
Hmm.
And then our
Hmm.
standings, I am in first with 148.76. Steve and Beegers are tied for second with
Wow.
145.79. Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
had a great week. You
Yeah.
went, I believe, was it 13 and 3?
Correct.
So Steve went 13 and 3, Beegers went 14 and 2. So
Wow.
they dominated the week and thusly leapfrogged and are now in second. SDS is in
Hmm.
third with 144.80. John and Draz have 142.82, followed by Rev at 132.92, Savage Owl at 131.93, Buff at 122.102, Mr. Agron has 121.103, and then Troll has 81.143.
He's playing the bogey round.
He is, yeah. He's just out here living his best life, having the most fun he can possibly have, and we're here for it.
Yeah.
So, what was not so fun though was week 15. I know that Steve Beegers and the like had a very good game, a very good week rather, and I went 10 and 6 personally, so it wasn't horrible,
Hmm.
but I definitely should have done better for myself. And
Hmm.
we will discuss that later on in our recap. But first things first, game of the week, the only one that's really like deserving of that crown was the Bills and Lions game, because pretty much everything else
Absolutely.
was either a really bad game or
Hmm.
so like obvious who was winning it that is really not
Hmm.
worth getting into.
No.
But the Lions having a huge comeback the way that they did when they were down 35-14 at one point,
Hmm.
and then coming back to only manage to lose by 6 despite having most of their defense off to injury. It's really remarkable.
Hmm.
And can I just say for a second that
Absolutely.
fair weather fans really get on my nerves. They're only a fan of the team when the team is doing well. And that triggers me. And then other people who are calling them frauds despite having like 22 people on the IR or injured
Hmm.
and still
Yeah.
contending and being 12 and 2. That's not fraudulent behavior. So it's a little bit triggering, but that's just me. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah. It was a pure offense there. Makes you wonder what happened to the Lions defense there. With injuries there.
Everything. Everything happened to the Lions defense. They're out
Hmm.
touch Aleem McNeil, Alex Anzalone, their
Hmm.
safeties. Carlton
Hmm.
Davis went down with a fractured jaw. David Montgomery on the offense went down with
Hmm.
an MCL, and he's likely out for the year. So pretty much you
Correct.
name it, and it happened to the Lions. So I'm not at all surprised that
Yeah.
they lost to the Bills. They came up against a juggernaut, and that's what happens when you face a juggernaut at, you know, 40%. Even if you
Hmm.
are hosting them, they were not 100% as a team ready to go. So the fact they made it close, they can contend with anybody. Now, for a team who can't seem to contend with anybody, we have the Chargers that we have as our shock of the week because they got completely
Hmm.
obliterated by Tampa, of all
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah. But I don't know. what happened with the Chargers there. Maybe Harbaugh drew up the wrong place there against the BUCS there.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I know that I've gone on record that I don't really like Harbaugh all that much as a coach or a human, but yeah, I don't really know what happened. I think the fact that the Chargers offense is kind of weak, not like through heavy injuries or anything like that, like we talked about with the Lions, but just in general, they don't really have much of a surrounding cast for Herbert to work with. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting what they do in the off season because they have a lot of things that they need to address.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do like a draft needs special in the off season to kind of prepare for next year and kind of see what we think each team should be doing. That could be fun.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, and then for regret of the week, I am going to defer to you and let you take this one first because my regret of the week
Okay.
is special.
Okay. My regret there is trusting the Seattle Seahawks there to beat the Packers there. I didn't thought Geno Smith would go down to injury there. That's
Yeah,
one reason there.
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, they weren't winning that game even if Geno was healthy because Geno decided to pull a Geno and
Mm-hmm.
threw picks that he shouldn't have thrown or took sacks to get them out of field goal
Mm-hmm.
range on third down numerous times when all you got to do is throw the ball away. So
Mm-hmm.
he will consistently make those kinds of mistakes, and if he is hurt and he can't play this week, I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to seeing what Sam Howell actually has. Because like as a quarterback,
Yeah.
I do like him. I liked him in Washington, and I thought that he needed a little bit of time to fully develop with a good, like I said, surrounding cast around him. So I'll be interested to see what happens with Seattle this week,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially considering it's kind of an important game for me. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
My regret of the week isn't a game in general, it is me. I am my own regret because I tried to play the splits with folks who were near me in the standings rather than
Mm-hmm.
simply predicting the way that I felt the games would go. And
Mm-hmm.
doing that ended up costing me 2 wins, those being the Texans and the Chiefs. I had a feeling that those 2 games would go the way that they did. I did
Mm-hmm.
not go with that because I was trying to play around other people in the standings. So
Yeah.
now,
Sure.
instead of being 5 games up in first, I am 3. And I'm a little bit more anxious about, how the whole thing's going to shake out. So for the disappointment of the week, we were combing over the schedule and kind of like looking at the teams and the results and how things went. And we've determined that the 49ers and Rams game was the most
Yeah.
disappointing of the week.
True. Uh, I mean the Rams to win it there without scoring a touchdown there makes me wonder there what was wrong with the Niners on Thursday.
I'm gonna just say everything. Pretty much everything. The entire season, everything has been wrong. And I don't really like Kyle Shanahan. One for his like lack of reporting injuries and stuff. John and I have talked about that before, and we're just like we're kind of over it. We're done with him not being transparent at all and trying to play coy with
Mm-hmm.
everything. But then also like he's made some really bonehead decisions as well. And I think that his team isn't behind him the way that you're supposed to be for your coach because we had a player just straight up quit mid game, third quarter. It's a really tight game, and you quit.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, I don't want to play anymore, and you walk to the locker room. That is
Yeah.
not a good sign for
Mm-hmm.
what kind of players you're bringing into your team and how you're
True.
coaching them.
Yeah.
So,
It's not showing team unity there.
exactly, yeah, there's no team unity, and there's no, like, I don't really know how to put it. There's no attitude or drive or motivation to win. And it reminds me of the Falcons, like we talked about, who could very well have won their division, and they have decided to bench Kirk Cousins in favor of the rookie, and now they have buyer's remorse on bringing Kirk Cousins in the first place, despite the fact that it's a first-year coach and player. Like, what do you really expect? You're not going to have a Super Bowl caliber team your first year together, right? So I think that the Niners could have still had a chance to win that division. I know it would have been a really uphill battle, but they still could have done it with the way that the division is shaped up. And so the fact that you have players quitting mid-game, it's not a good look for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then conversely, the Rams go from putting up, how many points was it again? They put up 44 on the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And then only managed to put up 12 on the 49ers. So
yeah,
it was a really weird game. Like, defensively, I was here for it. But offensively, a lot of issues. So I don't really know what to feel.
Mm-hmm.
But that is going to do it for week 15, so we can head on over to week 16 if you are ready.
Ready to go.
All right, so first game up, we have the Broncos and the Chargers.
Yeah, obviously, Chargers really need a bounce back game this week. They're out there. They're a huge disappointment against the BUCS there.
Yeah, they really, really do. And I was so torn in this game. Like, I penned it in, I think it was last night. I wrote all my picks in. And then this morning I was thinking about it, and I almost changed my mind on this game. I almost used my whiteout, and for the first time all season, changed it. I decided not to. But the fact that I almost did shows just how close this game is and how much I truly, truly hate it. So exactly. I am going to go ahead and let you take the floor on this one. And who do you have with Peyton versus Harbaugh? Nix versus Herbert?
True. This one, obviously, it's going to improve the team's chances of getting a wild card spot in the playoffs there.
Yep, I believe I was hearing that the Broncos are 1 win away from hitting the playoffs, which is astounding to me.
Yeah. But for me, there, whatever I pick there, I'll probably end up losing it there, this game there.
Right, yeah. It's just kind of like whatever I say, the opposite is going to happen, so what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Chargers at home to beat the Broncos.
You know what? I was using that exact same logic as you. And so to get what I want, I have to pick the opposite. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen for me.
Yeah. You're going to pull a troll, are you?
Kind of. A little bit of a pulling of a troll. I'm taking the Chargers.
Okay.
Because I want the Broncos to win.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to trust in my history with my Bane team. And I'm going to say that the Chargers are going to win it so they can let me down and the Broncos can win.
Sounds like a plan.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah. Now, let's move on to Saturday.
Yeah, we have Saturday games because that's, end of the season is what we do. So first up, I, again, hate this one. We have the Texans and the Chiefs.
Yeah. Obviously, the big story going into this game is what kind of condition Patrick Mahomes is going to be with that sprained ankle there.
Yep, it is the annual Mahomes sprained ankle game, where at the end of the season, he's limping around, he has an injury. Will he play? Won't he play? He's probably going to play. Oh my God, he's Superman. Look at that play that he just made. Those kinds of things. So I'm fully expecting him to play. I'm expecting him to be lights out, per the usual. He's going to, well, here's the thing. It's not going to be lights out, per the usual, but it's going to appear as such because he's coming into the game injured, right? So when he plays well, or just as normal as he would be, the perception is going to be that he's better and he's stronger for playing. So I think that it feels like a PR stunt on the football field, and I don't like it. But it's, a yearly thing with him. So we've seen this movie before.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, they're never count out C.J. Stroud. I mean, he had a good game against the Dolphins there.
His game against the Dolphins was decent. I will say he is kind of having a little bit of a sophomore slump. It's not quite as big as somebody like STS would have wanted the slump to be, but he's, settling in for his performance. So he's not, throwing 400 yards a game or having this kind of like electricity that he had in his rookie season.
True.
But I think a lot of that is also just the Texans in general have kind of come down from the high of last year. So I don't think it's all his fault.
True. Yeah. But for me, I'm going to go with my specialty on this game.
I agree.
3-pointer less one. And I'm going to say the Chiefs scrape it out there against the Texans at home.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's in Kansas City and we've got this whole narrative of Superman Mahomes coming into play, I think it's going to be close, but I do think they're going to edge it out in some capacity. I'm not sure what's going to happen with it, but something's going to happen.
True.
So far we have not disagreed once. This is refreshing. So next up in our Saturday slate, we have what is going to be a very fun game, in my opinion. The Steelers and the Ravens.
Big divisional rivalry game there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's actually important, too.
Exactly, there with possibly the division on the line with this game.
Yeah, how crazy is that? That, like, Baltimore might lose the division. That could be really, really interesting.
Yeah. The question is, can Mike Tomlin and the Steelers there recover from their huge loss against the Eagles last week?
That is a very good question, actually. I am not sure. They lost 27-13. I think it was more so just a Saquon Barkley. There was no stopping what the Eagles were able to do offensively. That was pretty much it for me on the Steelers.
Yep. And on top of that, their T.J. Watt went down with a horrible injury there.
Right. Let me actually, that was something I was going to do before we started. I wanted to look up T.J. Watt again. So he's back to limited practice, and George Pickens remains out. J.J. Watt gives an update on the ankle sprain. That's a video. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I'll catch you later, JJ. They said that he might still be able to play, but I'm not really expecting it.
Don't hold your breath.
Right, which it's kind of hard to do when you've got, TJ Watt there. So like it's holding your breath is something I want to do. But I don't know. I really don't know if he's going to play or not, but that definitely does play a factor in this game for sure.
Yeah, because without him there, I don't think they can stop King Henry there.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. King Henry was essentially a non-factor last week. Thanks, Lamar Jackson, for deciding to throw 5 touchdowns instead of handing off to Derrick Henry. Really helped me out in fantasy. I appreciate you so much for that. But I will probably see more of King Henry in this week's matchup because without TJ Watt, like you said, if he doesn't play, it's going to be more likely that they can, pound the rock a little bit better.
Exactly. Yeah. For me, there, I'm going to go for another game with my specialty there.
3 games, 3 3-pointer less games. Makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm going to go with the Ravens at home to beat the Steelers.
Me too. I don't think they're gonna get swept, especially now that TJ Watt might be out. Um,
Mhm.
I think if he was playing, like if he was 100% guaranteed to be playing, it would be a much harder decision for me. But
Yeah,
they're
easy
down
to
their best
go.
receiver. Yeah, they're down their best receiver. They might be down their best defensive player. Joey Porter likes to grab people, so
Mhm.
they're probably going to get some decent penalties as well. So
Mhm.
I'm in agreement, and I am taking the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so back to normal scheduling now. We move on to Sunday, and we
Mhm.
have the Giants and the now Penix-led Falcons.
Yeah. Hopefully, this time it'll be a better story for the Falcons there, because I don't know what happened with Kirk Cousins on Monday night there against the Raiders there.
He had a really bad showing. It was so bad I
Mhm.
actually took a snapshot of his stats versus Jared Goff's stats because I made the mistake and started Cousins over him.
Yeah.
So we have 11 for 17 for 112 yards with one touchdown and one interception, taking three
Mhm.
sacks. It was bad.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
not a good performance. And this is like the third
Yeah.
week in a row that he has had a not good performance. So
Yeah. I guess my plea went on deaf ears from last week.
yeah, yeah, I would say that it did because you told everybody to calm down, and they did
Hmm.
not, in fact, calm down. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll be interested to see how um how Penix does. Like I didn't think that he was a bad QB when he came out of college, so
True.
it'll be interesting.
True. Yeah. But bear in mind that it's against the Giants there, and we all
Exactly,
know the Giants are a horrible team there.
exactly. And I think like if you're going to send your rookie out to see what he has and what he's made of, this would be a good
Hmm.
team to do it against. To be fair, because like if not against the Giants, then when?
Yeah.
Like you're certainly not going to do it, next week
Hmm.
when they're going to Washington. So that is not the place that you want to throw your rookie out. So he's going to be at
True.
home, can bring the Giants in, have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah. So
So,
I imagine we'll be in the great agreement, and this is a no-brainer there, and take the Falcons at home to beat the Giants.
yeah, yes, we are. I think even without Cousins, and maybe now that they don't have Cousins, it'll be an
Hmm.
easy win for them. I think. The run game, especially, I think the Giants' defense is just kind of weak. So
Hmm.
we haven't had a split yet. I'm concerned.
Odd.
This is very strange. Next, we have the Lions and Bears. Oh my.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hmm. The question is, can the Lions defense there improve there? Because I didn't see it last week against the Bills there.
I think that they can because you're facing the Bears. You're not
Yeah.
facing the Bills. You're not facing MVP caliber Josh Allen.
Hmm.
You're
Sure.
not getting run over by James Cook. So
Yeah.
I think that they'll have a much easier time with it, and
Yeah.
they're getting some players coming back little by little.
Hmm.
One of their safeties is starting to practice again, so that'll be good. He's ready to take over for Carlton Davis, who's now out. So
Hmm.
they're still going to struggle, I think,
Hmm.
defensively, but my biggest worry here is, well, it's not really worry, it's more of like an intrigue, is seeing how Jameer Gibbs handles the workload being the only back that they're going to
Yeah.
have as your starter. Now, they might use Craig Reynolds as the heavy,
Hmm.
like Montgomery would be doing, but it's going to be all on Gibbs now. So
Hmm.
Sonic without Knuckles is going to have to do work.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what say you?
And So this one's a no-brainer for me there. I'm taking the Lions on the road to beat the Bears. Go with your hashtag.
Yeah, frick the Bears. Yeah, we're going with the Lions as well. I went with them to lose last week because it just made sense. They were very damaged, and the Bills are,
Mm-hmm.
the best team in the AFC. So it made sense. But the Bears, no. I'm going with the Lions. I do think this is a trap. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's highly possible that the Bears could squeak one out because of all the
Mm-hmm.
injuries that Detroit has.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's absolutely 0% chance that I was going with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we head on to the Battle of Ohio with the Browns and the
Mm-hmm.
Bengals.
Yeah. Obviously, they're. I don't know what happened to the Browns last week against Kansas City there.
They just thoroughly got beat.
Yeah.
Once again, Jameis Winston did Jameis Winston things and threw interceptions, pick sixes, huge.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs finally beat a team by more than one score.
Yeah. True.
So good for you. Unfortunately, it was
True.
because Cleveland pretty much beat themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
think Myles Garrett got hurt as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is he like hurt, or was he just?
Yeah.
Oh, he just screamed that his eye hurt.
Yeah.
He returned from an eye injury to finish out the Browns' loss. So
True. And obviously the Bengals they're two in a row there right now in victories there.
they are. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really enough. It's a little too late. But they
Exactly.
did win two in a row, even if
True.
it was pretty embarrassing.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Me, this one's a no-brainer there. I'm going with the Bengals at home to make it three in a row against the Browns.
I agree, and hopefully this one won't be an embarrassing win. They need a definitive win.
Yeah. A
Not
statement win.
right, a statement game, not something where they're going to actually let the team come back like they did with Tennessee. So they need
Yeah.
a true statement game, and I think this could be a good one for them to get.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Tennessee, next up we have the Titans and the Colts.
Yeah. Obviously, these are two teams going nowhere this season.
Well, here's
Not.
here's the funny thing though, is like the Colts could have won, at least had a chance to win their division if Houston would have slipped
Mm-hmm.
up and they wouldn't have been stupid and decided to
Mm-hmm.
drop the ball before they crossed the goal line.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I think Tennessee would have a much better time of it and a better record if they were starting the proper quarterback.
True. Yeah. Obviously, they benched Will Levis there and are
Again,
starting Mason Rudolph there on Sunday.
again, thank you. Like, excuse me. He should have been your starter from the get, but what do I know?
Yeah. True. For me, I'm going with the Colts at home to beat the Titans there. With apologies to Mason Rudolph fans.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is another game that I was very tempted to change
Mm-hmm.
because I like
Go
Mason
on.
Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really wanted to go with that. But I penned it in as the Colts, and I'm going to stick
Mm-hmm.
with the Colts because of my strategy with Denver as well. I
Sure.
want Mason Rudolph to do well, so therefore I am going with not Mason Rudolph, so hopefully he can. All right, next we've got the Rams and the Jets.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer there. I mean, even though Aaron Rodgers and the Jets there won last week, bear in mind it was against the Jags without Trevor Lawrence.
Right, they nearly got beaten by Mac Jones.
And obviously the Rams there, they need to intensify their offense there. I mean, scoring 12 points against the Niners won't cut it for them if they want to clinch the NFC West there.
Right, yeah, like they are in the thick of it on trying to snatch the division away from Seattle, and right now Seattle's kind of floundering a little bit, so
Mm-hmm.
now is your chance to go and get it. But like you
Mm-hmm.
said, scoring 12 points ain't gonna do it. I mean,
Yep.
only scoring field goals is not going to push you into the playoffs. Who do you think you are, Pittsburgh?
True. Yeah, this one's a no-brainer. I'm taking the Rams on the road to beat the Jets. Hopefully, get some more offense. They're Matt Stafford and Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua.
Can you just like get the ball once for me, please, Cooper? Like you didn't get the ball at all. You scored
Mm-hmm.
0 fantasy points. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So I as well am taking the Rams because of course I am.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we have an NFC East matchup with the Eagles and the Commanders.
Yeah, obviously the Eagles there. They came out strong against the Steelers there last week there.
They did, yeah. It was definitely a good showing. They kind of proved people saying they were overrated wrong, which I did ask
Mm-hmm.
if they were overrated, and they said
Yeah,
no, we're not. It's like okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Prove the doubters wrong
Yeah,
there.
point taken. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Even Jalen Hurts there after the game they're t- told them there.
Yeah, yeah. People were hating on him. They were being very critical of him, and he definitely answered. So good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Mm-hmm.
Commanders, who also won, but they won in like in my opinion, kind of controversial fashion. Because if I'm not
Sure.
mistaken, didn't the Saints decide they were going to try to go for two to win it instead of tying it?
Yeah, exactly there.
And also, whoever manages the clock
Mm-hmm.
gave the Saints an extra play because they stopped the clock for like a solid 3 seconds and it did not move off of 9.
Oh,
So that was messed up. Like they didn't call a timeout, they didn't clock it, nothing like that. But the clock stopped anyway. That was so
mm-hmm.
egregious. I cannot believe that actually happened.
Yeah. So this one's a no-brainer for me. I'm taking the Eagles on the road to beat the Commanders.
Me too. I think that they're just way too strong of a team.
Sure.
I like Washington more as a team
Mm-hmm.
because I like their kind of like floundering their way through the season and
Mm-hmm.
somehow doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're just gonna, similar to Detroit, they're just gonna face a juggernaut here in the Eagles, and
Mm-hmm.
it ain't gonna be pretty for them.
True. Yeah, I think by this week they'll clinch the division there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the Eagles have this
Mm-hmm.
one on lock.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, hopefully they don't clinch the number 1 seed anytime soon because I still want it, but I think that they're going to get
Yeah.
it. I think they're coming for the number 1 seed. So
Yeah. It's going to be a three team battle there for number one seed there, in
the
my opinion.
Eagles, the Lions, and the
Like,
Vikings. Yeah,
yeah.
that's going to be really weird if the Vikings fly under the radar so much that they
Mm-hmm.
somehow find their way into the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally no one's talking about Minnesota.
True.
So we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we have the Cardinals and the ever surprising Panthers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, what what is going on with their offense there?
I don't know, but I'm kind of on board with it. I think that they're able to surprise people in the strangest of times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said last week or a couple weeks ago, I think that 2025 is going to be a good season for them. They just
Sure.
needed time to get things
Develop Bryce
together.
Young.
Yeah, they had to develop him a little bit. I think him being on the bench was very, very helpful because he's certainly coming
Mm-hmm.
into this a lot more polished now.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful for their future.
Sure. Yeah. But unfortunately, it won't happen this week there because obviously Arizona there are battling for that NFC West, even though it's only a slight chance they'll get it there.
Right, but I don't think that they're going to be like San Francisco and just roll over and die. I don't think that they're going to go belly up for them. So they're going to still fight. They're going to still try to stake some kind of claim for the division because you never know. You know, the West has proven that anything can happen.
Sure. But for me, this one's a no-brainer. I'm going with the Cardinals on the road to beat the Panthers.
I as well. I would laugh my butt off if Carolina did end up pulling up the upset here. I would love for it to happen, but I'm also taking Arizona.
Sure. You're in it for the fun.
Right, yeah. I would love to be wrong. I really would. A lot of these games, I would love to be wrong, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
All right, so another one that I would absolutely love to be wrong on, we have the Vikings and Seattle.
Yeah, as we discussed earlier there with the Seahawks there, who knows how long Geno Smith will be out there with that horrible injury on Sunday night there.
Yeah, let's take a quick peek at what they say. Hurts' knee will undergo tests to determine the severity. It's not really telling me he's practicing today. But more than likely, I wouldn't expect him to play.
Sure.
He went through some morning walkthroughs and he's practiced. He feels good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if he is able to play, that's going to be pretty impressive and pretty cool. But at the same time, I would also kind of like to, like I said, see what Sam Howell has. So we'll see what happens with that. And then
Sure.
on Minnesota's side, they're one of those wishy-washy teams for me. Sometimes they play really, really well, and Sam Darnold is having an MVP caliber stats season.
Yeah.
And then other games, it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, true. Yeah, as we discussed a little while ago, there it could be a 3-team. They could be entering the 3-team race for the number 1 seed there if they keep playing really well there.
Yeah, like, what are they? Are they 12-2, I believe?
Yeah.
Yep, they're second.
Same record as the Lions and the Eagles.
Right, so all of us are tied.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, if the Eagles or the Lions do happen to slip up and Minnesota stays on this kind of schedule they've been on, they could sneak something in.
Yeah.
You never know.
True. Yeah. For me, this one's a no-brainer. I'm going to go with the Vikings on the road to beat the Seahawks.
Unfortunately, same here. I don't want to. I really wanted to go with Seattle, but I just think that the landscape is shaping out to be where Seattle loses their division and Minnesota is flying under the radar again. And it's going to be really sneaky how they end up handling things in the playoffs. So that's just kind of the path that I see. I hope that I'm wrong, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Now, next we have the Patriots and the Bills, the game that was flexed from the early to the late.
True. Yeah, because obviously a lot of people want to watch Josh Allen there. In my opinion, he's pretty much locked up the MVP race there.
Yeah, man is having an MVP year, personal life and professional. So, like, yeah, he's doing really well for himself.
Yeah, with apologies to fans of Saquon Barkley there.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I still think that Dad is right, and that you should have MVP by position. Because a quarterback is always going to win MVP. It's like, typically having someone win the Heisman. It's usually going to go to a certain position over others. And I don't really think it's fair to somebody like Saquon Barkley, who, without him on that team, the Eagles would not be in the position that they are. But I digress. This game, in my opinion, like you say, it's a no-brainer. I really
Mm-hmm.
like Drake May. I would love for them to upset Buffalo. I think it'd be funny,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, 100% agree. This one's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah, it is. All right, next up, this could be the only one that we like possibly could have a split on, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
We have the Jaguars and the Raiders.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a battle of two horrible teams there, in my opinion.
It is. It really is. We've got Mac Jones versus, I assume, Desmond Ritter.
Yeah. Yeah. Because obviously the Jags have been going downhill ever since losing the Trevor Lawrence to injury there.
They were going downhill long before Trevor Lawrence got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The entire season has not been kind to them. You know, we
Yeah.
came into this with a lot of high hope for them, thinking they might be able to at least be competitive in their division, and they just did absolutely nothing.
True. And obviously the Raiders, you never know what they're like there.
But they are usually pretty bad. You know, we can
Mm-hmm.
pretty much predict that their game is not going to be good. I
True.
will say I think that they're going to come into this game kind of angry because
Mm-hmm.
they were kind of messed out of their game with the Falcons. They could have won that
Mm-hmm.
game. They could have beaten the Chiefs had the officiating not done what they did. The
Exactly.
the roughing the passer call against the Raiders for the Falcons game
Mm-hmm.
definitely cost them, and it's unfortunate. So I think they're going to come into this game kind of mad, and I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
surprised if they can pull off a pretty decent win against Jacksonville here.
Yeah. True.
But that being said, who do you have?
Obviously, I'm going to go with the Raiders at home to beat the Jags there.
Oh, so we do have a split. Okay,
Yay!
I was kind of joking, but yeah, we do. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Jags because I appreciate their performance against the Jets. I really do. I think that they performed admirably.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fairly decent game back and forth, and
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, I'm gonna reward them by giving them my win. And I think the Raiders are tanking without tanking.
Okay.
You know, I think that they're hoping for next year, and I don't think that they really want to win.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next up, I do expect a split here, so you
Mm-hmm.
can try to prove me wrong. We have the
Sure.
Niners and the Dolphins.
Yeah. Both teams coming off shocking losses, in my opinion, there.
Yes, I would tend to agree. We have the Dolphins, who, being in December, you know, don't play that well. And then
Mm-hmm.
the 49ers, who, as we discussed during our recap, it quit. So,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly disappointed in what the Niners are doing.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much toast there. I don't think they can catch the Rams or Seahawks for the division there.
No. I mean, they have 3 games left. If they win all 3 and the rest of the division tends to lose, maybe they have a chance, but
Mm-hmm.
it's it's not looking good.
No. I think too many injuries there. What pretty much done them in this year.
You know, I want to say that, but then I look at my team, who has more injuries and players on the IR than any other team in the league, and they're 12-2.
Yeah,
They're finding ways to win,
yeah,
and the Niners are finding ways to lose. And that's
mm-hmm.
the biggest difference between teams that can and
Mm-hmm.
teams that don't.
True. Yeah, and obviously with the Dolphins, there, Tua. I figured Tua would go on fire ever since he came off the concussion there, but unfortunately, he went soft there last week against the Texans there.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's had a fairly decent season after coming back from the injuries, so I'm not gonna, discredit his journey and his return because I think he's done fairly well. But
Mm-hmm.
last week was just not a good performance. It was bad, and the better team definitely won. And again, it was a team that I should have gone with because I knew that they would. I was just trying to play for the splits, and I'm never gonna get over that. To be fair, I'm very mad at myself.
But for me this week there, I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home to
Hmm.
bounce back there and beat the Niners.
Okay, so I actually agree with you. It hurts.
Wow.
Yeah, it hurts to not go with San Francisco, but I'm gonna try some tough love. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I made a post that said that because one of my quotes last week was that I'm not ready to give up on the Niners, and then I dropped down and named the player that left, and he said that makes one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm returning the favor. If y'all want to quit, so will I, and let's see how this thing goes. If you want to go ahead and take a win, bring me back
Yeah.
in, more power to you. But right now,
Yeah.
if you're quitting, I'm quitting. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, you should get a meme there that says "I quit."
Yeah, I have a GIF that I have saved of Castiel from Supernatural just walking into a lake. Like, I'm so done with you, I quit. So yeah, I will go ahead and plop that one up. I will use that because, like I said, if it's good for you, it's good for me. Tit for
There
tat,
you go.
etc. So you quit, I quit. Dolphins win. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
Now we've got Sunday Night Football with the BUCS and the Cowboys.
Yeah. Obviously, the Cowboys are playing for next year. They're hopefully they'll acquire better players there for Dak Prescott when he becomes healthy there.
Yeah, I think honestly though, for the Cowboys, I think their main focus should be the defense. Because like they have CD Lamb, I think their running back is pretty decent. They could use another wide receiver or two to be like a good steady wideout that you can go to. Offensive line obviously could use some help, but I think it's the defense that is their main issue. Because you have Micah Parsons, but not really anyone around him that can be that playmaker that you need.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, the Bucks they're coming off that huge shocking win against the Chargers last week there.
Yeah, a shocking slaughter. It was truly a shocking slaughter.
Yeah. I bet few people called that one.
Not many. I think SDS would have, but he chose my strategy of belief by not believing, and so he didn't. But this one, I think this one's going to be closer than a lot of people are expecting,
Sure.
and I'm here for an upset.
Yeah.
But who do you take?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm taking the Bucks on the road to beat the Cowboys because I don't think Cooper Rush has enough firepower there.
Yeah, I agree. More so, I think that Tampa, now that Atlanta quit, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
I think that they have the division in their sights, and they want to ensure that they win the division, and the only way to do that is to keep winning. And so I'm taking them to beat Dallas as well.
Sure.
And then lastly, we have Monday Night Football with the Saints going to the Packers to take on Green Bay.
True. Yeah. Obviously, the Saints are floundering there now ever
Yeah,
since Derek Carr went down with
yeah.
injury.
Losing your starting QB is going to do that to you. So, unfortunately, losing Derek Carr, losing Taysom Hill, Kamara has been listed as questionable like every week this season, as far as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're in some trouble.
True. Yeah. And obviously Jordan Love and the Packers, they're will use that as motivation there to play better there.
Well, I mean, they're going to be going to the playoffs regardless, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're going to be probably playing pretty well. What I think would be really funny is if Jamal Williams has a career day against Green Bay, considering he's a former Packer. I think it'd be fun.
Sure.
And I would love to see him get some carries. But yeah, so for me, I am going to go ahead and just get this over with. I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't want Green Bay to win, but I'm going with them to win anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing there. In a week of 16 games there, we only had one split.
Yeah, and it was the worst game of the week. So
sure.
That's amazing to me. Jacksonville and Vegas is going to be kind of what decides us.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is how we see week 16, and it's now time to find out how our friends do with their picks.
Yep, indeed it is. So, first up we have John, who took the Chargers because they're at home, the Chiefs, the Ravens because they're at home, the Bengals with morning trap game number 1, the Falcons, the Lions in morning trap game number 2, the Colts, the Rams for spite, the Commanders over the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Vikings. I hope Seattle wins so you don't have to listen to Collinsworth, Joy. Thank you. I hope so too. The Bills, the Jags, the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Packers. And then we've got SDS, who took the Chargers, Chiefs, Steelers over the Ravens, the Bills, the Falcons, saying please have this experimenting blow up in their face. Please. He took the Lions, saying tough loss last week, but hey, run the table. He took the Cardinals, the Jets, saying this wouldn't be the first time the Rams got embarrassed by a lowly Jets team. Then he took the Eagles, Bengals, Titans, Vikings, Jags, the 49ers, the BUCS. Please, BUCS, do not get embarrassed the one time I'm actually able to watch a game live. Because SDS is actually going to Dallas, and he's watching that game in person, so...
Wow.
Yeah, we'll be able to see...
Hope he has fun.
Yeah, me too. I do hope that you have fun, but also we'll be able to kind of test his curse in person. Because he has this thing where he thinks that anytime he watches his team, something bad happens and he's cursed. So, it's a perfect way to test it and see how they fare when you're in person to watch them. And then to round it off, he also took the Packers. Alright, next we've got Troll.
Oh, my buddy.
Alright. So he took the Chargers and the Texans. He took the Steelers, unless you have a problem with that, Steve.
That problem's not with me, it's with Beegers.
You know what, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You have a problem with Beegers going with the Steelers over his team, not Steve. And then he took the Giants and the Bears. Lol. The Panthers, the Jets, the Commanders, the BRONCOS. Interpret that pick, Steve.
I can't.
You can't. So yeah, so who do you think he went for there? Browns, Bengals, the BRONCOS. Who do you think he went for?
I think he went with the Bengals.
All right. And then we've got the Colts, Vikings, Patriots, Jags, Niners, Cowboys, imagine, and the Packers. That is funny. The BRONCOS. He's a big BRONCOS fan. I love it. All right. Yeah. Then we've got Buff, who took the Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens, Falcons, Bills, Bears, Bengals. I almost read that as Broncos. God dang it, Troll. The Colts, the Jets, Commanders, Panthers, Seahawks, Raiders, Dolphins, Cowboys, and Packers.
Yeah.
You have forever ruined the Bengals for me, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we've got Mr. Agron. Broncos over the Chargers, Texans over Chiefs, Steelers over Ravens, Giants over Falcons, Lions over Bears, Cardinals over Panthers, Rams over Jets, Eagles over the Commanders, Browns over Bengals, Titans over Colts, Vikings over the Seahawks, Patriots over the Bills, Jaguars over Raiders, Niners over Dolphins, BUCS over his Cowboys, and Saints over Packers. And then there's Biggers, who took the Chargers. The Chiefs, even when we think we're going to see a game without Mahomes, it looks like he's still going to play. It took the Ravens, in all caps, time to get our revenge. The Falcons, finally with a real QB. Is this going to age well? No, I don't think it's going to, but we'll see, buddy. We'll see. Lions, Cardinals, Rams, Eagles, Bengals, Colts, Vikings, and the Bills. I feel so bad for the Patriots this game. The Jaguars, 49ers, Buccaneers, and Packers. And then we have Owl, who took the Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens, Falcons, Bills, Lions, Bengals, Titans, Rams, Commanders, Panthers, Vikings, Raiders, 49ers, Cowboys, and Packers. Followed by Rev, who took the Chargers, Texans, Ravens, Falcons, Lions, Panthers, Rams, Eagles, Bengals, Colts, Vikings, Bills, Raiders, Dolphins, BUCS, and Packers. And then there's Draz. Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Falcons, Lions, Cardinals, Jets, you Aaron Rodgers stan, you, Eagles, Bengals, Titans, Vikings, Raiders, 49ers, BUCS, and Packers. That does that.
True. Yeah. Close the book on our week 16 there.
Good Lord, yes we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, with Christmas coming up next week, there we'll probably have a change of day when our next versus game will drop on here.
Yes, we will, and that is actually a very, very good point and good idea, Steve. I can bring that up here. So, with next week having 2 Christmas games, and with my not wanting to upload on the holiday, we have decided that Steve and I will be recording for week 17 on Monday of next week, and then I will be having it uploaded on Christmas Eve. So all the picks will be in on Monday, and then if they are not, they can be commented down below, just to kind of catch everybody up on the picks and how things are going to kind of shake out from there.
Obviously.
So we do apologize for kind of rushing week 17, but the NFL did a dumb, and Christmas did a dumb, deciding to be on a Wednesday this week, or this year, instead of being, on a weekend, which would have been very nice, but whatever. So, yeah, it's a lot more short notice, but hopefully the Monday night game doesn't really sway decisions all that much, so we should be able to get our picks in on time.
Sure. And obviously, we have to thank people that are Patreon members on here.
Yep, members of the channel, Richard, Sandra, George, and Aracellus. Thank you so much for the added support. If you guys want to join with them as well to be a member and get your name featured here and the end screens of other videos that I do, you can go ahead and check out the join button and see if those perks tickle your fancy any. And also thanks to Steve for joining me and all of the guys for joining me in the Pickems League in general. It's been very fun so far.
Not a problem there. Obviously, to all of the fans of Joy, please hit the like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell for all future videos on here.
Thank you, thank you. I do appreciate it. And with that in mind, we will catch you guys next week for the Christmas games in week 17 of the podcast.
Thank you all. See you all next week.